Hey, it's Des here with another video, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to have an awakening experience. So first of all, I'd like to make it clear that the first experience that you might have of the no self is a basic awakening. I would call it. It's basic, but it's by no means not special. If anything, it'd be very profound because most people, I would say, haven't experienced it. But I do think it's very important to get a taste of this work, these things I'm teaching, because if you don't get a taste of some very simple awakening, then all the talk of being spiritual and doing these practices without getting the experience of seeing what these things are pointing to won't mean anything. So the method of how to do this is very simple, but the value is in the doing. So there are many ways that you can create an awakening experience. But looking back, the way I did it was that I noticed that the thoughts that I think are not my thoughts, and they're coming from someplace else, as well as the space between them. So it's really two different things, if you want to think about it that way. But I remember what made me even do the process at all was the inquiry of what is suffering. So I got to a place of of a really deep not knowing. And this is very important because a lot of people tell themselves they don't know, but this is a false not knowing. Because some might say that they know that they're hurting themselves by doing something like eating junk food or some kind of addiction, but keep doing it. So they tell themselves they don't know, but really, it's a false not knowing. So when I ask myself, why am I causing this suffering? And it's not that I suffered in a really bad way per se, but I would accomplish something, I'll get something, and then I would not feel happy, but keep doing this, right? So this is the problem. Like, people do something, they get it, they're not happy, and they do it again, keep doing it. So to say that, well, I know things don't make me happy, but keep doing it, that's the false not knowing. So when you finally sit down and realize, like, why? What is suffering? Why do I suffer? From a place of really not knowing, then you get the answers. So it started with that, and I noticed that these thoughts that I would think, like I would see myself as I wanted to be, but it wasn't. And then I realized that these thoughts, and there's me seeing the thoughts, there's a separateness. It's like when Eckhart Tolle had his awakening, he said, I cannot live with myself anymore. So there he created a distinction. There's the I and myself. So who's this I living with themselves, right? So if you sit down and start to notice these thoughts arising from your mind, one technique would be, or one way to think about it is, try to find where these thoughts are coming from. But in my particular case, it was more of the space between. There's the space. Because, like I said, or maybe I didn't say it, but people associate their thoughts with themselves as if they're one and the same thing. But then, in my case, I saw that no, there's something, this observer, you could say, and then there's the thoughts being watched. So one way you could think about it is, imagine that you are a wildlife observer and you're looking through these binoculars at this wildlife over someplace else, and you're just observing it. And whatever it does, and you're not getting lost in the story, but you can just watch it and not get caught up in the story. and then realize there's something beyond the mind, because the self that you would think you are, the false self associated with your mind, is not the true self. So that was really it. Doesn't sound like much, but that's the thing, is something very simple that people don't do can have a really big, powerful effect. And another way you can think about it is that, another idea that might help you, is that people, they say that they, maybe they might know that, yeah, I know I get caught up in my thinking, but they don't know that when they judge other people in public. For example, you might have seen somebody that they would talk to themselves in public, and you say, well, that person's crazy. But you do the same thing. You don't verbalize the thoughts, but you sure do get caught up in them, talking to yourself and not seeing that you're getting wrapped up into these thoughts. So just because you don't verbalize them doesn't mean you're not doing the same thing, per se. So that's the idea, and I'm gonna make other videos with different techniques and ideas that you could do to create an awakening experience. So if this video was helpful, please like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.